Okay, Alison, can you tell us a little bit about why we should practice at home?
Well, doing a speech therapy practice at home is actually really important for a number of reasons. Firstly, all the research shows is that more consistently that we practice any skill, the faster we learn it and the faster we master it. It's the same as if you're learning to drive a car or play a new sport. Practice is actually where we get the traction and the growth and learning happens.
That's really tricky for a parent who's got lots of stuff on. So what would you suggest to them to make sure that they're having this opportunity to get so much practice done throughout the week?
Yeah, look, we know that family life is so busy and it's often really hard to fit in what you're being asked to do. So I guess the first thing is make sure what you are taking on for your practice is actually manageable. Mm-hmm. So as speechies, sometimes we've got so many ideas and so many suggestions of things that we'd like you to practice, but really narrowing it down to that one thing that you need to focus on at a time. So then my first tip would be, once you know that one thing, is actually plan to practice. I know that sounds really obvious, but trying to attach your practice time to a routine event. So I like to suggest maybe when the kids are brushing their teeth, they do that at least twice a day, so they get a little bit of practice in the morning or the afternoon. And that might follow on to actually keeping your practice materials right there in the bathroom, stuck to the bathroom mirror or the back of the door, back of the bedroom door, wherever you're going to be at the time that we want to get the practice done, be ready for it.
But what if our child doesn't want to participate in that? For example, when you're brushing your teeth, how could we get them engaged if they're struggling?
Yeah, I guess part of that is working out the time that's going to best suit your family and the child. Sometimes it might be a nice thing to do when they're in bed at night at the end of the day, maybe sticking some practice words or sentences around the room, give them a torch, let them shine it on the words while they say it just before they go to bed. So picking the time that's going to work for everyone, but attaching it to something that's quite regular.
Something that we try and do in sessions at Newcastle Speech Pathology, we always ask our clients as well, particularly the little kids as well, and we say, who do you want to practice with? And we get them involved in choosing, so that way they've got some autonomy over when, where, and who they're going to practice with. So I find that helps as well sometimes.
That's right, it's really important to get their buy-in. And yeah, but just be flexible about thinking about the places that you can practice. You know, you can practice in the car while you're waiting to pick up another child or you're waiting for a sports activity to finish. You can practice as you're pushing a trolley through the supermarket. There are many different places and times to do it. So try it and see what works.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can plan for practice. The next thing to do is share the load. Practice can take its toll on you and you can feel it very repetitive. So share that around other family members. If you're the parent or the caregiver that's come to the therapy sessions and you've been taught how to do something, share that with somebody else. Sometimes recruiting a grandparent, I've even had neighbours, older siblings, and other people getting involved can really help sustain continuous practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love to film a short video clip at the end of every session where I just get the parent to hold up your phone. You can film me doing the activity with your child, and then you can go home and show that to others, and they'll know pretty quickly what to do and how to help.
And it also means it's really consistent across the board. Everyone's doing the same thing. We're all using the same strategies, which means that it's going to really make an impact quite quickly, which is good.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we can plan, we can share the load, prepare. I touched on that briefly before, but really prepare for your practice. So make sure you've got the materials that you need handy, and that might just simply be having your picture cards on your phone. It doesn't have to be complex, it doesn't have to be expensive, it's what you've got at hand, but make sure that you've got those things organised.
Yeah. Now, something that I know some kids struggle with, some kids have a lot of intrinsic motivation and they really want to do their practice and their homework. For those kids that don't have that sort of intrinsic motivation, what can we do to support them?
Look, having some kind of reward is always really helpful. Some kids are more motivated by that than others. So it's about negotiating what that reward is going to be. So it can be something quite small. So it might be, I'm going to give you an M&M for every word that you have a go at spelling out for me, or I might have a special treat for dessert tonight should we get through that. But for others, that they don't need that such immediate reward, they can actually work towards something larger. So negotiate what it is that your child might want to work towards, and then what are all the little steps they're going to need along the way to get there. But make sure that the reward you pick matches the effort that you want them to put in.
Yeah. Okay, Alison, can you tell us a little bit about how we at Newcastle Speech Pathology can also help parents with some of these things? Because I know that it can be really hard to come and see a speech pathologist 4 times a week, 3 times a week, and it's hard to practice at home. Do we have any other alternative options?
Absolutely. So first of all, we want to make sure that you are clear on what you're practicing and that's going to be achievable for your family, and we want to set you up for success. But because practice can be quite draining and quite challenging, we offer alternative services that are going to help you get your speech practice done at home. So that could be an additional session in the week with one of our allied health assistants, so where they will sit down and actually run through like a whole speech session with your child. But of course we also offer these shorter appointments with our allied health assistants. We like to call them speech coaches at this point, where they can just do an online telehealth session with you, just running your child through exactly the home practice that we would expect you to be doing, but you can outsource it to somebody else.
Yes. Awesome.